Hi, let's talk about kids who are perfectionists. This happens all the time. It's really common. I had a parent recently reach out to me and say her daughter is a total perfectionist. She will not even try things if there is even the chance of making a mistake. And when she makes a mistake, she really struggles. So let's unpack this. I have done other videos on this in the past, but I want to highlight a couple of points in this video to at least give you a better understanding of why this happens. And then I want to walk you through exactly what I would do if I were in your shoes. So first and foremost, let's back up and let's remind ourselves that kids actually learn through experiences. They make meaning from the experiences that they have, not necessarily the words that we're saying. Meaning, a lot of parents have great sort of explanations around mistakes, and we have a lot of good things to say about making mistakes and how not to be afraid, and that's how we learn, and everybody makes mistakes, right? We say the right things, but if your actions and the child's experiences don't align with what you're saying, it really doesn't mean anything. So let's talk about where and how this shows up. So first and foremost, what do you do when you make a mistake? What is your energetic experience like? Do you get really down? Do you feel really disappointed? Even if your child doesn't know, they can sense that there has been a shift in you when you perceive yourself as having done something wrong. Do you even say simple statements like, let's say you forget something and you walk back to say like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how dumb I am today. I keep forgetting everything. Sometimes we make those comments in jest or in passing, but our kids are paying really close attention to those subtleties and they're kind of going, whoa, okay, when you make a mistake, that sometimes is the messaging, that's the takeaway. So number two, I want you to think about where and how you're actually allowing your child to make mistakes. Often when we, the parent, know we have a child that struggles with this, we can forecast very quickly where a mistake might happen, and we try very hard to sort of prevent that from happening because we know what the fallout will look like. But actually the best way to work through this struggle is to actually allow for the struggle. I know it's like the most least desired advice, but that is what you want to do. We want to give them opportunities to experience mistakes so that they can start to become resilient and tolerate the frustration that comes and work through whatever feelings they're having around this idea of being perceived as wrong. And then third, this one's the hardest, you guys, but it is the one to pay the closest attention to. How do you treat others when they make mistakes? And I'm going to go a step further because I'm sure you've heard people say, like, if you yell at the person who works at the store for making a mistake, you can't turn around and tell your child it's okay to make mistakes, right? We can't, and that's true. But I'm going to go one step further because I actually think it shows up in a different way. It's how we treat our loved ones who make mistakes. So let's say your mom or your dad are watching the kids or doing something for you and they make a mistake. Do you roll your eyes? Do you say something under your breath? You and your partner, how do you guys communicate with each other when you perceive the other has done something wrong? Do you get immediately annoyed? Do you snap? Are you reactive? Do you call them out in front of people? What is your knee-jerk reaction to mistakes within your family dynamic? That is what your child is paying the closest attention to. That experience will let them know, am I safe to make a mistake or is it not safe to make a mistake? So moving forward, you're going to take into consideration those three things that I just highlighted, and you want to allow them to experience those mistakes. And again, it always starts with us. So make those shifts that you need to make. So this way your child starts to learn through their experiences that it is safe to make mistakes. It's not something that we can talk to death. It really has to align with the way we have to walk the walk here instead of talk the talk. But feel free to grab any of my free downloads. They're in my the link in my profile, but I have a 60-minute workshop on how to become less reactive using my 4-step process called PAR. It stands for Pause, Acknowledge, Respond, Reflect. And I also have a 60-minute self-regulation workshop for parents. That's also free. So grab those and let's start doing the work so our kids can walk through this world with being a little more resilient and showing up as their best self.